Hi, good people. Hi, TIs. It's Sherry, and I am here with some free and valuable information for you. Some information that is going to help you benefit yourselves as well as each other. Okay, so if you listen up, today I'll be talking about monkey mobbing and why you should never, ever, ever be a screaming monkey. Okay, so don't forget to hit like and subscribe and the notification bell. That helps you, it notifies you whenever a channel releases new content, just kind of helps you organize your viewing time a little bit more efficiently. So, and then stay till the end so that you can get all the benefits from this little topic because it was quite interesting. I think you guys will benefit from it. There's some similarities between animal hierarchies as well as human hierarchies, and we can learn so much. All right. So stay here and watch this video with me. All right, so a little bit about me. I am Sherry, and here on my channel, Sherry's Stories. I also have another channel, Sherry's Research and Reviews. So I talk about stories on different topics and subjects, and I research and review different things like this type of information. So I just want to let you know from the setup here that I am not a professional. Okay, so what I do is I take this information, whatever topic, and I research it. I read books, articles, and watch tons of, content, documentation, documentaries, um, you know, uh, YouTube video, podcast, vlogs, everything to kind of just learn a little bit more about the subject. All right. And on this subject, again, I did learn so much. Okay. And I'm excited to share what I learned with you. I really am. I think you will enjoy it. Okay. Because again, a lot of human hierarchies also, humans, we operate off of hierarchies, and there is much to be learned from monkey hierarchies, monkey mobbing, and why you should never be a screaming monkey. Never do it. Never, ever, ever. Okay, so here's the thing. Oh, also too, I really did enjoy putting this together because I come from a family of animal lovers, and I'm an animal lover, as many of you guys are too. I'm assuming, and it's just interesting, monkeys. I know my mother and her siblings even had a pet monkey once back in the 60s. I guess it was a popular thing back then. I digress. Okay, so anyways, monkeys. Monkeys have hierarchies and roles. Um, and lifestyles, okay? And they also have behaviors and tactics to maintain, increase, and defend those roles and lifestyles, okay? So, and again, within any role within the troop of the monkeys, you do never want to be a screaming monkey. All right, let's discuss. So, a little background. You guys know I quote some Bible scriptures. So in Genesis 1:24 and 26, it talks about how on the fifth day, animals were created. Okay. And then it goes on to talk about in Genesis 2:19 and 20, how Adam was able to name them. So that must have been quite an interesting time, to see all the animals and to be able to sit and name them. What an honor, and how interesting. And then also too, the Bible talks about in 1 Kings 10:22, about how when King Solomon had ships full of, goods and spices and what do we call it now, import export stuff. A lot of the imports that were coming on the ships, some of them were apes and baboons, so obviously they were very valuable. People have always had an interest in primates, monkeys and whatnot. Then there's the movies, Planet of the Apes, love it, one of my top 10 movies. You guys too, right? Yeah. So anyways, those three Bible scriptures just kind of talk about, animals and when they were created, and how they got to be named, and then how important they were to society. People have always been interested in them, including King Solomon. Okay, so much so that his navy ships were carrying, they were part of the cargo at times. Okay, so valuable. They made space for primates on those ships. All right, so that being said, like I mentioned before, monkeys live in groups. It's not usually just one monkey, like maybe sometimes big cats, felines can be kind of solitary. Monkeys, for the most part, usually live in groups, but they're called troops, kind of like military troops. Okay, so groups called troops, monkey troops. There's different kinds of monkeys, primates, gorillas, chimpanzees, rhesus monkeys, marquee monkeys, snow monkeys, which actually sit in hot springs. If you guys, if you Google or go on YouTube and you look up snow monkeys, and they like to sit in hot springs, which is like a hot tub, and they just sit there and it looks like they're in the bathtub and they're like, playing with the water and everything. It's quite fascinating. I didn't know that. And it's all like snowy around them. So obviously the water is nice and warm and relaxing. So anyways, yeah. So there's those kind of monkeys, and you guys know what monkeys do. They eat, they play, they groom each other, they sleep, they mate, they care for their babies. They're just living their lives. Okay. Now the roles within these monkey troops is they have hierarchies. Okay, like everything, like the spirit realm, like the human, like in our human society, and also the animals have it. Okay, so as you would guess, the one of the higher levels in the groups are the alpha males, okay, and then the alpha females, and then of course the alpha babies, and then those groups, and then the ones on the bottom, which are lower ranking, males, females, babies. Okay, so what I thought was interesting too is that these roles, if you're considered alpha or lower ranking, whatever, they can be inherited. So if you have a mother, the monkeys that had the mothers or fathers that were high ranking, then they were born to high ranking, or vice versa. If they had, parents that were low ranking, then they were born into a lower rank. But those roles can always be changed, okay? And I'll get into that, so you can, these monkeys are able to increase their ranking, as it were, just like humans, okay? I'll get into how. This is interesting. Okay, so you guys know with the alpha males, they're depended on to defend, if they're looking for new territory, they actually go out and look for it. They get the food, they get the choice of the mates, they enjoy the spoils, they're the first to eat, they get the best sleeping quarters, they get the shadiest tree, it's the soft and leafy spots to sit in and lie in. And yeah, and again, they get to choose their mates, right? So from the troop. So that's the benefits of the alpha males. Okay, usually too, no surprise here when I researched it, that it said most of the, and from what I've seen from the videos, most of the alpha males were the ones that were most aggressive. Okay, and they won the most fights. Now, one thing too I want to talk about is with those fights. Okay, so when these monkeys were fighting, the males, and just like with humans, fighting is by chance, like you never know if your blow lands. Or same thing with the monkeys, they bite, they hit and everything. And sometimes and it's quick. Usually fights are quick. And a lot of it is chance, and it was just saying that these fights can turn out, they could be injured for life. Or they could be, if they win, they've just increased their status for life. And if they're willing, and they also said too, and this makes sense, the more fights they have, the more confidence they get. So then the more they're willing to be aggressive, because when they've been aggressive in the past, they've been rewarded for it, et cetera, et cetera. So it was interesting how that article brought out that point. But yeah, so alpha males, they defend, they go out and get new territory, they defend the females, the babies, the whole troop, and they're higher ranking. They're the first to eat, first, they get the choice of everything. Okay, now on the flip side, and they also again protect from outsiders and whatever. So on the flip side, these alpha males, they have to be the ones again to defend. Now this is, well, we'll get into that, but I'll tell you what happened in this one. It was these monkeys. This it's so, I'm excited, so I'm like, well, trying to get it all out, but I learned so much. And when you sit and watch these videos of wildlife, jungle stuff, it is so fascinating. They have such hard lives, from just maintaining their hierarchies. You wouldn't think, but they do. We always think monkeys are cute and da da da, but they have teeth and they fight and they have to, maintain their lifestyles. So okay, well, so anyways, that was the alpha males. All right, and the alpha females, they are, when there's like food, the alpha females will be the second ones to eat. Okay, so first all the males go, right? The dominant males, and they eat, they get, full and stuff their faces and stuff. And then when they're done, then the alpha females, the higher ranking females come with their babies and then they eat. Um, and then lastly, the lower ranking, males and females. It was kind of sad because actually in one situation, one of the females was lower ranking, and the monkey, the troop, had gotten a jackfruit. I don't know if you guys know, here in the United States, we don't see a lot of them. It's more of an exotic type of thing, but it's as big as a watermelon, but it's like prickly, like almost like it looks like a cactus or like a prickly pear. And when you cut it on the inside, it's got like this bright red fruit and everything. I guess it's common in a lot of other countries and everything, and it's supposed to be really good for diabetes. But I digress. Anyways, these monkeys got a hold of this big jackfruit and they were feasting on it. Again, the dominant males first, because they're the ones who protect and everything, and they have to eat the most. Then the dominant females, or the alpha females, and then the babies and everything. And then this one poor female that was low ranking, and she was pregnant too, this female, but because she was lower ranking, she didn't get to the food in time. So there was no jackfruit for the pregnant female. And she was so big, she was ready to give birth to her little baby monkey. And she couldn't have any jackfruit. Aw, next time, I hope that, I hope that little monkey, and there's lots of jackfruits in the forest where they live. So, but that's just a difference between the higher ranking and the lower ranking, just from what I seen. Okay. So then also now, again, we said monkeys are cute. They got their little hands, right? They sing, they dance, but they have teeth. They have teeth too. Don't let them fool you. And they have canine teeth, the sharp ones in the front. Okay. So they can bite. One way they show their aggression to each other, and this is so different than humans because we usually show our teeth like as a smiling, right? It's like a friendly thing. Hi. If you don't smile, sometimes it's called like that resting, the resting bee face or whatever, when you don't use your teeth, the closed lip smile, it doesn't look as nice, so smiling, it's friendly. In monkey, in monkey body language, smiling, they don't have a smile. It's just showing their teeth. When they show their teeth, it's like a sign of aggression, which makes sense. Teeth, you're baring your teeth. I just want to say as a side note too, I had a teacher once, and this lady would always, when she smiled, it was a weird smile. It felt like a monkey, like showing their teeth, like an aggressive smile. Like she was smiling, but her eyes weren't smiling. Like she could just, wow, it was, yeah. Anywho, so that's a little monkey body language for you. Um, all right, so we talked about males protect the troop from outsiders. Okay, so one time there's this video footage online, and these three lionesses were going after this troop of monkeys. It was baboons, and the alpha male baboon, bless his heart, he was so brave. He like ran out and like stood in front of the female monkeys, like what's up, It was three female lionesses, lions, females, but still lions, way bigger than a baboon. That baboon was so brave, and he was protecting his little troop, the females and the babies and everything. And yeah, he was so brave. Them female lionesses killed killed him. Poor little fluffy monkey. He died protecting his troop, his family. Oh, harsh, savage, man, savage. But that he was an alpha male. So you can understand why they get to eat first, why they get to the best, of the provisions and everything, because they're protecting. Sound familiar, right? We are familiar with that, right? Why do veterans get a lot of perks and everything? Well, because you can imagine they're protecting, they've put their life on the lines. Warfare and defense is a hard business, right? It's hard to do. So yeah. So anyways, that was the that's a little bit about the alpha males. They have to do protection and all that. Also, within the troops, the monkeys, the primates, will fight for position, as you can imagine. So again, there's higher ranking males, females, lower ranking. What will happen sometimes if another male wants to increase his rank, or a female, they will challenge the dominant one and try to take that position. Sometimes it works, and oftentimes it doesn't. One of the reasons it doesn't is because usually the alpha males and the females have their alliances set up. So, like this one monkey, he wanted to fight the alpha male, and the alpha male wouldn't fight him by himself. So he got all his friends, and then they attacked him as a group. And that other monkey, he just ran away. And yeah, so yeah, power in the group, right? Um, what else? So yeah, they do power grabs. They try to, um, change their role within the hierarchy. If a situation where a male challenges and does become the new leader, he would end up, a lot of times they end up killing the babies because the babies were from the previous male. So the new male wants to establish his bloodline, and so to do that, he kills off all the babies from the old males. Okay, so just like we talked about a couple weeks ago, right, with Pharaoh. Okay, with the whole remember when the Israelites left Egypt, because that's one thing that the Pharaoh was doing to make sure that the Israelites didn't overpower the Egyptians while they were living in Egypt. It just mentioned that the Pharaoh said, hey, they're getting too many, they're getting too strong, pretty soon they're going to overpower us. We have to control this population control, and we're going to do it by killing off all the male newborn babies. Okay, so that's it. Apparently even in animal kingdom they do that, right? Because males carry the bloodlines. All right. What else here? Okay. So also too, now this is a sad thing with lower ranking female monkeys. All the monkey females value the babies. Okay. But on this one, when the female is lower ranking, higher ranking females can actually go and like take their babies and like do whatever they want with them. There was this one, the uh, the monkey's name was Anna. Okay, and there was another higher ranking monkey named Sarah, the same Anna that didn't get to eat the jackfruit that was pregnant. Well, anyway, so she had had the baby, and this higher ranking female monkey named Sarah wanted wanted the baby of Anna. So she took it. And then like she was being nice to it and petting it and looking at it cuz she was pregnant. So she wanted to see what it was like to have a baby. It's so fascinating, these darn monkeys. Anyways, long story short, the baby started getting hungry and it was really hot in the forest where they were at. So he tried to suckle from the alpha female Sarah, but she hadn't given birth yet, so she didn't have any milk, and he was sitting there almost gonna like, dehydrate to death, like literally, he needed to drink. And so finally she let the mother have him back, because he started crying. So yeah, and the mother of the lower ranking female, Anna, could not go and fight with Sarah. Hey, give me back my baby, because that would have upset the ranks. So she had to sit there and basically watch until Sarah finally let the baby go. So that's pretty harsh. And there's other situations too, where alpha females and males will kill lower ranking babies of lower ranking females and males. So even the babies themselves will fight each other. Um, Harsh. Also, too, even the own parents of babies. Now, I didn't know this, but it makes sense. Only the strong survive in the animal kingdom. There was a baby monkey born to a female monkey. I forget if she was high or low ranking, whatever. But she had had other babies before, and the narrator, how they narrate this like it's a soap opera. The narrator was saying how, she was a good mother, and for some reason with this particular baby, she wasn't bonding with it. She wouldn't let it suckle as much, and she kept, looking at it, and something was off. So then they finally seen that the baby was born. He had like a stripe on his head, like a little white stripe, and they were brown monkeys, so none of them had stripes on their head. Okay, none of them. And so this was different. Actually got very sad, and the mother, she would not let the baby suckle. She was like hitting the baby, biting the baby. The little baby monkey was like crying, and then she just like threw it down and like left it there, and this poor little baby monkey was all scrunched up. They kind of look like human baby. He was all scrunched up, like crying for milk, like his mother, like, come back and I'm helpless. And she would not take care of that baby. They had to come in. I forget what happened. I don't know if they let the infant monkey die or if they had to go and remove it. I don't think they were zoologists, so I don't think they removed it. I think they might have let the baby die. But yeah, the mother would not take to it because of that stripe on his head. Yep. So something simple like that, something different. They ostracize each other within their hierarchies. Okay. So yeah. Also too with baby monkeys and with each other, there was one I seen where they'll bite. You know, they have teeth. We don't think of monkeys as having teeth, but they do, and they have those canine teeth in the front. You know, big ones. you know but they'll bite each other like in the face. That mother monkey was like biting the baby in the face, and this other monkey was like drowning, trying to drown the baby in the river. Like, I think he did. You know, these you guys can look at the videos. They're interesting, but obviously you can only stomach so much, and it's enough to see once, you know. And it's just to understand how animal groups live, you know, how these monkey troops live. It's interesting. You know, there's always something to be learned from animal and human behavior, I think. Um, so yeah, another thing, the mother didn't like the baby. Another situation, a mother monkey didn't like the baby for whatever reason and threw the baby down from the tree. The baby died, internal injuries. So yeah, it's a tough world for them. So now, here were some things I noticed when the monkeys were fighting. Okay, if a higher ranking monkey was trying to fight a lower ranking monkey or whatever, if one monkey was trying to fight another one and the other one didn't want to fight for whatever reason, hey, I know I'm lower ranking. I don't want to fight with you. I'm going to lose. I'll get ostracized. Forget it. I don't want any part of this, or whatever the situation was. Again, with the eye contact, guys, in animal world and in human world, I've noticed, if you want to, if with these monkeys, they when they gave direct, like when the one monkey wanted to fight the other monkey because he wanted to be higher ranking, he looked the other monkey right dead in the eye. Yeah. So if you ever want to start a fight, just give unbroken eye contact. It's a form of aggression, apparently, even in the animal world. There's such a thing as too much eye contact. So that was one of the things. But now, if a monkey wanted to avoid a fight, they would look away, not necessarily down, but away from the other monkey, the dominant monkey that maybe wanted to fight. Okay, so that's a sign of submission. Also, too, turning their back. We talked about dogs do this, leaving for a little while. The one monkey, the female that had kidnapped the baby monkey of the other one, she wouldn't let it go, and the other female monkey couldn't fight her, so she just sat there and waited. And finally, when the baby started crying, the other monkey got tired of it and left. And then the original mother, the lower ranking female, grabbed her baby and they hurry up and left for a little while. Get the heck out of Dodge, you know. So yeah, that's a way of showing submission and surviving. And this is ultimate survival. If these monkeys don't get along, they could be killed by their own troop. Okay, can get real lethal real quickly. I noticed in the documentaries I watched. Okay. Also, too, let's see. Some things that helped if they did want to be dominant. The alpha male and females always had a group help. It's not just one. It was the most dominant. Each one, a female and a male, had the most dominant, but they had a group of friends who were also dominant. So that's one thing I noticed. Okay, and then again, the power of being calm and of ignoring, like the female monkey, the lower ranking one didn't try to fight with the other one, the higher ranking one. She didn't dare. And if she would have, that might have ended up with a fatality. The alpha female, and that's been done before, I've seen those videos, they will actually again kill the babies of the lower ranking females, because the lower ranking females don't fight back because they could get killed by the higher ranking. Oh, it's just a whole hierarchy. Okay, fascinating. All right, so let's talk about screaming monkey. What's the whole deal with the screaming monkey? Well, when the monkeys are bullying, teasing, being dominant, being aggressive with each other, the monkeys getting bullied, usually the lower ranking, they're scared, they're stressed, they're nervous, they're fearful, and just as humans, we can relate, right? And when they get so upset and so stressed, they start screaming. Poor monkeys. Ah, right? Screaming for help is what it is. However, this tactic does not work. That's why in the title I said, do not ever, 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 not ever be a screaming monkey, because this is true. If a monkey that's being bullied starts screaming, you would think the other monkeys will go to help, and they'll go if a monkey's screaming, because another monkey is bullying it. All the other monkeys will start looking and paying attention. What's going on? This one is screaming, and then they get stressed, then they get nervous, then they get fearful, and then a little something happens. You'd never think that this would happen, but it does. The whole group of monkeys will start attacking the monkey who was screaming. Instead of helping that monkey, oh, you need help, you're screaming, this other monkey's bullying you, as a group. Stop bullying. No, they join in on it. They join in. And oftentimes will kill that screaming monkey. So, um, that's why I said, don't be a screaming monkey, right? So then what did I notice? What did the monkeys do, right? This was these books that I read, and the books that I read actually a lot of them were about like mobbing and bullying with humans, but had done research within the animal behaviors to, to get some feedback, or I guess to compare and contrast. So, one of the things, instead of screaming, what we talked about, the power of ignore. These monkeys knew how to do it. Like the one monkey, she stayed calm even though her baby was crying, and needed to be fed, and you could see she had like little nervous mannerisms, she would, guys know monkeys. But she stayed calm. She stayed calm, and the other monkeys, she kept going to different branches, so basically running off with the other monkey's baby, and the other monkey was just following. Oh, hey, hi, and the the alpha female would be kind of rough with the baby, grooming it, and then the real mother monkey would just like be gentler and grooming, and hey, I'm grooming too, and we're all friends. And they really were. I mean, you can imagine they were friends, but the higher ranking female monkey could have at any moment chose to kill the baby of the lower ranking female, and the lower ranking female knew that. So yeah, but she stayed calm, and she didn't scream. She didn't scream, because monkeys do scream, but she didn't reach that point. And she submitted, and tried to play nice. And the one monkey didn't even get the jackfruit, but she didn't go in there and try to force her with. She just said, okay, I'm not getting any jackfruit today. And she was sitting on the ground foraging, for nuts and stuff, and she still got her food, poor thing, but she was pregnant. She didn't get any jackfruit, but maybe she will next time. Anna was her name. They had named her Anna. But anyways, one thing with this screaming monkey business too is that there's something in psychology called learned helplessness. Okay, learned helplessness is something that can happen when humans are bullied. They are bullied too much. Okay, so they did an experiment, and it was kind of cruel, as many experiments are. But what they did was they took these fish and had them in a tank, and then they put a partition up by their food. Okay, so they wouldn't let the fish get to the food. The food was on the other side. The fish could see it, but they could never get to it. So they kept hitting their heads at first, bumping into the glass, bumping into, the partition, because they knew the food was behind there. And finally, after days, months, they, I guess sometimes the researchers would let them get the food, but most times they wouldn't. What ended up happening with the fish is that they eventually stopped even trying to go and get food, because they had tried so many times, and it was, they couldn't get there, bumping, hungry, and couldn't get the food, hungry. They got hopeless. Okay, that's how this ties in. So that's what learned helplessness is. So eventually those fish in that experiment died. The experimenters, they died. They wouldn't eat anymore. They wouldn't even try anymore. They just gave up. They gave up. Okay, and these are fish. They also did it with other animals. Cruel. And obviously we can see that's within human behavior too, learned helplessness. I think that's what happens a lot of times. Helplessness is when you feel like you don't have any hope. That's what happened to the fish. There was no hope that they would get any food anymore, so they just gave up. And that can happen with people too, as you know. And a lot of things can happen, a lot of effects from learned helplessness. If you have no more hope, you don't have a will to live. And knowing people who work in the medical field and studying a little bit of that, they, they always say, keep hope. You don't want to have false hope, and you don't want to be, ridiculous about it, but you always want to keep hope. And we always have our hope in the Bible too, for those of us who are Christian and believe in the resurrection. There's always the hope of that. There's always, so I feel kind of bad for people who don't have that Bible knowledge, because that really, that calms your soul. You could be facing death and knowing that the true God will return and resurrect and fix everything. And these promises are in the Bible, and everything in the Bible has come true. Everything, all the prophecies, have come true thus far. So, we can depend on that as our truth, right? So, and it gives us hope, right? Hope in the everlasting life. So, which is the opposite of learned helplessness, because again, that experiment, with the fish and the animals, once you get learned helplessness, they ended up dying, because they wouldn't even try to get food anymore, because they just gave up hope that they were ever going to be able to get it. So rather cruel, to take hope from something or someone. So, and again, how this relates to the screaming monkey is, if you keep screaming, you could imagine the monkey screaming, and that could, if nobody helps, they can get a feeling of learned helplessness. So, but the smart ones who survived, the loner, lower ranking monkeys, but they were still there doing their thing. I noticed, and you guys watch the videos, watch it for yourself, you'll see it. They know how to get along. They're submissive when they have to be. They stay calm. They do not scream. Screaming is a dead. It draws attention. Like picture, what was that? The Invasion of the Body Snatchers, right? Where they found the other person, and then they would open up their mouth real wide and scream. Ah, it was like a guttural sound. Yeah. So, anyways, don't be a screaming monkey. We can take that advice as humans, right? When it comes to some situations, especially those of us who are like targeted, when you're targeted, and sometimes the things that are done, the bullying, and not just that, but the physical effects sometimes, having your eyes plated, having your body affected, lack of sleep and this and that. And, you could just scream sometimes. You feel like screaming. It does. If you're like, you just want to, but you can't. And I, as a TI, and if you guys are going through it, I can tell you, you just have to hold it together as much as possible. I mean, don't get me wrong, I grumble, I do, but I gripe a little bit, but I try not to scream. I have to bite my lip. I have to really calm myself sometimes, to not scream about the issue. And this goes for people too. I just want to mention this, and then we'll be done, okay? But I just want to mention this in work type situations, if something, or family situations. Beware of being a screaming monkey, because again, you think people would naturally want to help, but what you could inadvertently do by screaming, getting upset about the issue, and getting being frantic, okay? When you produce that frantic energy, you could make it worse, and you could make the group then turn on you. Okay, so you can talk about things, you can share, but you have to be very you have to be there's a style and a way to go about it, and you don't want to make any nervous energy or stressed or fear. You don't want to make other people stressed or fearful, because the group could end up turning on you. So don't be a screaming monkey. Don't do it. Okay, that's it. So interesting, hey guys? Yeah? Do you guys, just to talk a little bit more about the hierarchy, do you guys have a role in the hierarchy? Do you like it? Do you want to change it? You want to increase it? You want to decrease it? You can still get along at the bottom, and not have, like that baboon, don't have to be front and center and get killed by 3 lionesses. But, each we have our roles, right? Some of us who are leaders, we didn't choose the game chose us, right? Choose the game if you're a leader, you got to be a leader. I joke, but you know how that is. And it's a shame not to share, right? If you can help. All right, so yeah, so and again, what we can learn from the lower ranking monkeys was that there's an art to submission, You know, there's an art to being lower in power, you know, and then also to what extent, you know, in our human hierarchies, you know, of course we have to be submissive too. And to what extent, how do we do it? What are some little tips and tricks we can learn? I don't know. Watch those monkey videos. Look at those scriptures too, guys. I only named 3 today. Okay, I named 3 scriptures. I'll include them in the description in case you want to look them up. I did 14 last time. I know that was a lot, so just 3 this time. 2 in Genesis and 1 in 1 Kings 10:22. You know, just about monkeys. So, all right, if you have any comments, please post them. I will get back to you. I always will get back to you. You can also email me, and I post every Tuesdays. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And I thank you for watching and letting me share this information. I do. All right, guys, have a good week. Happy Tuesday. Thank you. Bye.